Ladies and gentlemen, your next bout of the evening to be fought over three-minute rounds and amateur mixed martial arts rules in the welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He enters the cage tonight with a mixed martial arts record of 4 victories, no defeats. Representing HAMMA, please welcome Marc Webster. His opponent, standing across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. He enters tonight with a mixed martial arts record of 3 victories, 1 defeat. Representing Apex MMA, please welcome Lee Kennedy. Your referee in charge of the action, Mr. Dean Weir.
Here we go, Marc Webster making his FCC debut, 4-0 with a 50% finishing rate in those 4 fights, taking on Lee Kennedy out of Apex MMA. He's in the blue corner, the red, white, and blue shorts. He's won all of his wins in the first round by KO or TKO, so I'm expecting fireworks, Brad.
Yeah, I think we've actually seen both these guys before here in FCC, Steve. Couple of times for Webster and once for Kennedy. And I believe you and I actually called Marc Webster's fight on another regional promotion here in the UK at the end of last year. Very promising up-and-comer at the HAMMA gym, and that's something we tend to find ourselves saying quite a lot these days.
Absolutely, but you can't take anything away from the Apex man, who's made the cage move 3 or 4 feet with the ferocity of that takedown attempt. And
yeah, Apex MMA churning out some absolute beasts. And this is a real classic FCC clash. It's 2 gyms that have been with us from pretty much the early days of FCC, always churning out great fighters, and we're seeing another evenly matched contest here. Webster was briefly looking for a guillotine here. Lee Kennedy all over him like white on rice.
Well, you can see why Kennedy's, both of Kennedy's wins have come in the first round. If this is the pace he sets, I can't see him doing it over 3 full rounds. But got that body lock again, and Webster doing well to turn into it, get his back to the cage. And now he needs some separation.
Yeah, we saw Kennedy at FCC 16 with a TKO of the real deal, Wes O'Neill, which is much of a muchness. But he does also have a TKO victory in the first round over Kamil Gidzewski, who's one of the better amateurs out there on the Northwest circuit at the moment. So a lot of credentials for Kennedy. Similarly for Marc Webster, wins over Jack Gadd, Ashley Gibson, and Dan Hunter.
And again, he goes back to that.
Beautiful stuff there for Webster to roll through.
But now he's given the back. Onto his back. Got 1 hook in. Webster working like mad to ensure he doesn't let that position get any worse. But
Steve, these are little things that happen in amateur. There's a certain rawness about the technique on display here. It's not a knock on either of these guys. If anything, it makes the fights more fun for us and the crowd here at the Macron.
Absolutely. Kennedy landing those little shots, chipping away at the resolve of Webster. Oh, now we almost in the full mount here.
Kennedy looking to punch his way into better positions here. He's looking for Webster to give up an arm or relinquish a dominant position. He's not going to have a whole lot of time to do anything. He looks to roll for the leg. He's not going to get it.
No, he's not going to get it, and gives himself the bottom position.
Yeah, 2 more of those, please.
Oh, amen, brother. I'll take that all day. That was fun.
No problem with watching that for another 6 minutes whatsoever.
Absolutely, although Kennedy now going into uncharted waters for the win. All of his wins have come in the first round. Let's see if he can keep that frenetic pace up for the next one. Bit of blood from the nose from Marc Webster, so some of those shots landing. Wow.
There's a lot of support here at cage side for Marc Webster, and something I saw, which may be much of a muchness, it may not be. Webster was looking at what's possibly friends or family in the crowd when he should be listening to his coach.
Yep.
And
is that a bit of amateur? Is that just, you know, excited?
Oh, 100%. But that's perhaps one of the mistakes you make in amateur that you don't make at pro.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show the weight of expectation these guys carry on their shoulders. You know, we can say, oh, well, they're just amateurs. They're just here learning their craft. Well, actually, you know, there's maybe 1,500 people here in the Reebok
That's
tonight.
right.
It's a big stage. The crowd's roaring. There's a lot of pressure for these guys. Their family paid good money for a ticket to watch them fight. And there's a pressure and an expectation to perform.
Absolutely. And you will notice that the pace in the second is noticeably a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Controlled here in the second.
Measured.
Measured, that's it, yes. They're now trying to ensure that they have a little bit left in the gas tank for that later round. Webster landed that low kick, and certainly Kennedy has to start paying attention to that.
Yeah, we talked about the crowd support here for Webster. Let's flip that on his head. He's got hundreds of fans here screaming his name, willing him on, and that's got to put a few more fumes in the gas tank as this fight wears on.
You'd have thought so. The 12th man, as it were, is like a second man in the cage with you. I think he sees something in that leg. He keeps going to that low kick.
Yeah, if you can take someone's leg out from under them, it affects their movement.
And
it affects their own ability to kick. It affects the amount of power they can generate in the punches because they can't post properly off it. Same with their double legs. If they're firing off, you know, power doubles, it lessens the impact.
He attacked the inside of the leg, as you were talking about, and now the inside of the right as well.
You've got that the sciatic nerve on the inside of the leg, which is incredibly painful and troublesome to get kicked in repeatedly.
And again, using his strikes to set up those shots to the leg.
I mean, with these small gloves, anyone can go down from a single shot, but if you look at most of the most spectacular knockouts in MMA history and boxing history, they've all been set up by something else.
Absolutely. I think Webster's just maybe starting to grow into this fight a little bit. His confidence seems to be a little bit more, he seems to be a little more bullish. Pushing forward.
And how well is that going to translate to the pro ranks when he's got those extra minutes to play with? Fitness clearly isn't an issue for him.
Although, you know, we go back to that first round, and Kennedy had a moment in that top position where in the pro ranks he could have started unleashing some elbows. And, you know, would this, it almost looks like Webster keeps, just come on.
Nice lead left hook there from Webster. Webster's moving very well here. What he's doing is stopping Kennedy, getting set into a position, getting set into a rhythm where he can get those strikes off.
And again, throws that chopping leg kick. A less frenetic, a more measured round, as you say, Brad, and a round that I think Webster has taken.
Yeah, an equally interesting round though, Steve. Plenty to take away from that one, and I would tend to agree with you on that Marc Webster would have taken that round. I mean, we're not judges, though. There's a reason there's three of the best around the cage, and we get to sit here and goof off.
Absolutely. But it's just nice if we end up being in if we end up getting it right with him. I quite like that.
Makes me feel better about myself. Amen. I always feel like I'm copying someone's homework, though. I'll run over to Ben Cartledge or Dave Leatherby. What did you get for that one?
Yeah. But that's what they get paid the big bucks for. Ours is to talk about it.
Exactly. And you know, we talked about, you know, it's always you know, great to see the best referees. You know, we've got Neil Hall, Dean Weir in the cage tonight. It's always good to see, you know, great judges like Dave, like Ben, etc. You know, the rest of our judges here tonight and other events around the UK. The levels, you know, in the past 5 to 10 years have just gone up immeasurably, and it always just gives you that little bit of extra confidence that there's going to be a fair result. The fight's going to be officiated well. Everybody goes home happy.
Absolutely. Third round underway, and you know, Webster started with a low kick as soon as he got within range, and I think if he's not overzealous now, I think he's found the recipe for success.
Absolutely.
It's just whether or not he can keep that composure. He's talking a little bit. Come on.
Nice leg kick there.
Another chopping leg kick. I'm looking for him to go high, and but gives up that body lock, and from behind, and wow, Lee Kennedy rags him to the ground, takes his back, and
yeah, Marc Webster rather fought that every step of the way, but Lee Kennedy was not going to be denied on that takedown, Steve.
Absolutely not. He wrapped around that waist, held on for life, and threw his man to the ground, and now walking his way up into the Webster turn. He was walking himself up into the mount there. Webster's got to be careful. He's either going to give his back up or he's going to get mounted if he's not careful. I would suggest it's going to be the back.
I mean, there's very little he can do from this position if he lets his man go. He needs to turn and put his back on the mat to avoid giving his own back up.
Yeah, nicely done, but
then you've sacrificed position. If he turns into it, he's going to give his back straight up.
Yeah, well, he's sitting in a really wide open well, it was a wide open half guard. He was looking to pass, but Webster pulls him back into guard, one butterfly in place. But this is not where he needs to be. Last round, he's being controlled on the bottom. There's no doubt the fighter on top is taking points at the moment. Webster needs to do something.
Two very different styles at play. You've got Kennedy, who at the moment is being the grinder, and you've got Webster, whose good work was done via output.
Yeah.
At the moment, Kennedy's stifling the output and preventing Webster from putting points on the board.
Absolutely. Kennedy doing what he needs to do to try and take this round in the judges' eyes. Again, you can't argue with his control.
Mick Stanton screaming instructions at Webster there. He's got a big fight coming up
Oh,
next weekend.
Kimura lock.
He's got the Kimura grip. He can use it as a sweep here.
10 seconds
Final
left.
10
He's going to have to, just throw everything into it, pop that arm out, but Kennedy is going to defend, and we're going to get a decision.
From this position, the Kimura is more of a sweep into side control unless you've got full guard and your name's Kazushi Sakuraba. It's not even impossible to get the submission, but a great potential for sweeping there. Now, look at the body language here. Lee Kennedy's corner think he's got this. I might tend to agree with them. The third round certainly was Kennedy's. The first maybe.
Round, I think probably. I think you're probably looking at 29-28, but hey, again.
I mean, let's leave that one for the judges to pick apart. From our point of view, that was an incredibly entertaining fight.
Absolutely.
We got to see two very different styles, two very different game plans, both guys having success. And again, we've said it so many times before, Stephen, we're not just talking up these guys for the sake of it. Both these guys are going to have great futures in mixed martial arts. You buy a ticket for either of the next fights tomorrow.
Without question. That was a lot of fun.
But we get to see him for free.
Styles make fights. Let's turn it over to our MC for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to our judges' scorecards. All 3 judges scored about 29-28. Your winner by unanimous decision in the red corner, Lee Kennedy.